Jay, so we learned that the Vice President of Student Affairs at Lincoln University, Antoinette Bailey, passed away by suicide as a result of harassment she faced by the president of the university, who happened to be a white man. She's an African-American woman. And so this coming days after the resignation of former Harvard University President Dr. Claudine Gay. So you asked me a question a couple of weeks ago, do Black women have it harder? And I've known that this has definitely shaken Black women across the country. But what do you think about this? So we've talked about taking politics out of education, but the harassment that she faced on the job, which ultimately led to her untimely death. What do you think about that?
I don't know, man. You know, that's a tough nut to crack. I don't think it's an isolated incident for women or anybody, especially Black people. I think this stuff is happening, period, all across the board. I don't know a lot of her circumstance. You know, we've talked previously about people you have in your corner. It's part of my book. It's called Business Corner, but it doesn't just have to be germane to people in business having somebody in their corner. People in life need somebody in their corner, need people in the corner. And I'm curious to know who was in her corner, who was her support system. You know, I think we, our community, especially when you rise to heights like she has, and again, I don't know her story, but I know especially in our community, our friendships get a lot thinner. The air get very rare up there when you get to those heights and you're not around a lot of people. And, you know, again, she's probably not around a lot of people that look like her, probably not around her family like that, you know, and those things are contributing factors to people taking their own lives. So I'm assuming, you know, don't quote me on this, that she didn't have a great support system around her. And then also we have to understand that, especially with our sisters, their job is so much of their identity. And I don't think that women were built that way. You know, now, it's more controversial, but in the old days, men were identified by what they did, and women were identified by who they married. And it wasn't, I don't think it was a bad thing. A lot of women would take that today as a bad thing, but no, you take our name when we marry you. That's why you was that. Yeah, maybe you were so-and-so Robinson as you were being raised up and you had an identity of your own, but think about that. You have your dad's last name. If you're in a traditional marriage and relationship and family, you had your dad last name then, right? And so then when your dad in weddings give you to the husband and you take his last name. So that's why your identity was that. But if you go to the Bible and the Proverbs 31 woman who everybody likes to talk about, you know, she still created her own identity by how she worked within that relationship, how her identity was as a parent and as a wife, right? So when we have our sisters today who put so much of their stock and their energy and their identity in what they do for a job and what they do for a living, a lot of them are in that space of saying, I'm not going to have, either it's going to be that or a relationship. It's either going to be my career or family. And so if this is all I have, because a lot of people have families to go home to, and that strengthens them in their roughest times in the job. That gives them strength. That gives them, that something to get over that hump. And I don't know if she had that or not, but I would be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked to find out if she didn't have that support system to help her get over the hump in those rough times. And just to be frankly honest, to say, get the hell out of that damn job. Because we don't have to take this. You don't have to take this because I'm with you. I got you. You don't have to be going through a situation that makes you feel inadequate or uneasy or not worth what I'm going to be telling you as a husband, or if she with a spouse or another type of spouse, whatever. Somebody's telling you that you're more than enough. You're more than enough here at home with your children. You're more than enough here at home with your husband or partner or what have you for today's time, or your brother's, sister's, mother, anybody that reminds you of who you are and how much your life matters. But we climb that ladder to success and it gets thinner and thinner. The air gets thinner and thinner higher we go. And as Black people, we don't see a lot of friendly or familiar, I'll say, faces. And so it makes it a lot harder for us to deal because nobody identifies with what we're dealing with at that time. Nobody looks like us and nobody has our struggle. And so it's very, very tough. So we got to find a way to fix that. And maybe that's helping each other get to those same heights, not fighting each other on the way up, helping each other get up there so that we can have these support systems and we're not struggling the way like that on our jobs and in our careers. And we're not doing extreme things, because I think that this is a cry for help, even though she's gone. But it might be a cry for help for the next person that's going up in that space. It's sad, and RIP to her.